Hey guys, it's Rob. So as you may know, I've been fooling around with lighting at night because I want to have, you know, when you go into turns, like sharp turns, and when the bike's leaned over, the light, here's the light, like the bike's lighting, when it's leaned over like this, and the turn is, you're going this way, like this, the turn is completely unilluminated. So I've been trying to figure out a way to disperse the light in such a way so that when the bike is like, when you're riding and you're tipped over, the lighting is not spread out that way, but it's actually pointed upwards into the turn. So so I was fooling around with this thing. I had it mounted on the helmet, so if the bike would lean over, I could point my head toward the turn and the light would be lit on the turn. Whereas, and I was fooling around with this a lot, but I thought, well, let me try a different approach. So what I figured out was on the ZX10, there's two headlamps. If you just fire up the bike, one headlamp stays on, and that's the low beam. When you put it on high, then the high beam lights up. So I was thinking, okay, how about I leave the low beam on, the regular standard beam on, and when I'm conducting the turn, then I hit the button so that my high beam also turns on. So I got my low beam, and then when I do the turn, I turn on the high beam. So, okay, so the high beam still doesn't illuminate enough of the turn. And I was thinking, okay, what if I modify the high beam so that it disperses the light? So when a motorcycle is tipped over like this, the lighting is like this, right? And then, but this part still remains dark. So I started fooling around with like dispersal patterns. So I was playing with this, like, okay, so let's say I turn this on. If I turn it on like this, then the light like shines upwards. So if I'm riding my bike this way and it tips over, hey, this corner is lit. I was playing around with different patterns like this. Like, what if I did that? Well, it would be the same thing as my motorcycle. Like, if I went into the turn and I leaned, this part wouldn't be lit. So actually, because the tubing is round, that's a better fit. So if I do this, then okay, you can see on the upper portion. You can see on the upper portion here, it's lit. It's lit better. Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, I needed some kind of round dispersal to disperse the light up and down. So I came up with, I decided, okay, let me turn that guy off. Okay, so I decided to try cutting these strips of tubing, and I tried to staple them down and put some weight on it so that they would flatten out eventually. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I can just tape all of this and tape it on my high beam so that it would work. And I was halfway through this idea when I realized, well, it would be easier if I found like a D-shaped lens that I could peel and I could just stick on the lens. And that was like a specialty item, and I couldn't quite find it. So what I did find browsing Walmart was I found something cooler. What I found was this guy, Clear Seal. It says, well, look, stays clear, will not yellow, weatherproof, clearer than silicone. Okay, cool. So I thought, okay, well, this can function as a lens. And instead of putting, like, when I read this, liquid nails, it's like, oh man, I don't want to permanently glue my headlamp, because what if I don't like it? What if I want to peel it off and I can't, or it has a problem coming off? So what I decided was, I'm gonna apply tape to my headlamp. I'm gonna try this out, and you know what? When it comes time to get rid of it, I can just peel this off my headlamp and I can toss it away. So I was playing with the patterns here. You can see I've created micro lenses. You see the roundedness. So hopefully these rounded uneven edges will cause the light to like disperse. I don't want the light to be diffused. I want it dispersed. And diffused is like shining a light through a white plastic bag. I don't want to lose that much light. If you shine it through a white plastic bag, you'll probably lose 50 to 75% of the light. I wanted it clear, so I wouldn't lose that much light. I would retain as much light as possible, but I wanted my light to illuminate as much as possible. So I haven't tested this out yet, so here it goes. So I'm thinking, here's my lens system. You know, I kind of want to keep this intact. You know what, I better chop it. Let me try something here. Let me see what happens. Let me put it behind. Okay, this is before. Okay, I'm putting it right behind the camera here. So this is before, and this is after. Before, after. Okay, so it's not just focused on one side. It's actually dispersing it throughout. So I think this is going to work. I'm going to try this. Yeah, I'm going to try that. See if that dispersion will work. Rather than, yeah, I want to try and put these beads, these little beads on my headlamp by taping this bead. I know it's pretty crude, but if you practice, you can kind of get the hang of it. So one of the I'll show you the technique that I used. I had to kind of experiment to figure this out. So here, let me show you. So one of the things you do is you squeeze, and then you trim the bead like that, so it stays into a bubble, and then you squeeze another bubble, and then you trim it again. Then you squeeze another bubble, then you trim it again. So now I got 3 little bubbles there. See that? Boop, boop, boop. 3 little lenses. Yeah, so that's the technique. I want to try it. This says it produces 17 linear feet. I think I used a good 10% of it already, just fiddling around with this, but I got enough. I got enough to fool around to see if I can get a you know, nice dispersal pattern. So there it is. I'm going to try and see how it works.